because today we're diving into something that can even make experienced dog owners, like, a little nervous, right? Resource guarding in Cane Corsos.
Yeah.
You know, like that thing where your dog's totally cool 1 second and then boom, you reach for their toy and they turn into like a guard dog.
Exactly, yep.
That's resource guarding, and we're going to figure out why it happens and what we can actually do about it, especially with Cane Corsos who, they're kind of known for being a little protective.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Cane Corsos, with their history as these protector dogs, they can be prone to this.
Okay, so is it all in their genes?
Well, you got to think about their history, right?
Yeah.
Like, for centuries, these dogs, they were bred to guard stuff, property, livestock, you name it. Even their humans.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, back in the day, if you've got a Cane Corso protecting your farm, being a little possessive is probably like a good thing.
Exactly. Survival skill. But now, obviously, that instinct, even though it's natural, can lead to some tricky moments, let's say.
Okay, so our source today keeps saying prevention is key. But like, what does that even look like with a Cane Corso puppy?
Well, one thing that works really well is something called trade-up games. So let's say your puppy has a tennis ball they just, love.
Yeah.
Instead of just grabbing it, you offer a really good treat in exchange, like something they can't resist. Think a piece of steak, maybe.
Maybe something really high value.
Exactly. And as they learn that giving something up gets them something even better, they start to think, oh, when my human comes over, this is good.
Right, yeah.
It's positive. It's not a threat.
It's like a win-win, right?
Yeah. And another important thing is desensitization. It sounds, complicated, but really it's just about getting your Cane Corso comfy with you being around their stuff.
Okay.
So picture this, right? Your pup's chewing a bone, and you, instead of like swooping in, you just kind of sit nearby, maybe even give a little pat, some praise.
Oh, I see. So you're not competition. You're just like a chill presence.
Exactly. You're not a threat, just a friendly face.
Gotcha. Okay, what about those commands like leave it or drop it?
Right. Those are super important, not just for safety, but because they help your Cane Corso understand that you're the one in control of the resources.
Oh, so it's not about like dominance.
No, not really. It's more like if they know you decide when they get the toy, the food, whatever, they don't need to guard it so much
Oh,
themselves.
that's a good point. Yeah. Okay, so we've got trade-ups, we've got desensitization, clear commands. What about socialization? I know our source mentions that a lot.
Right, remember those guard dog instincts? Well, socialization helps kind of mellow those out by exposing your Cane Corso to all sorts of people, dogs, you name it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like the more they see, the more they realize not everyone's there to steal their bone.
Exactly. It builds their comfort zone. And there's one more piece that's really important, and it might surprise you.
Okay, hit me.
Routine. Cane Corsos, they love knowing what to expect, when to expect it, regular meal times, playtime, even cuddle time on the couch.
Oh, so like a predictable schedule helps them feel secure.
Exactly. Predictability reduces anxiety, and when they're not anxious,
Less guarding. I'm getting it.
you got it. Now, I know a lot of people listening might be thinking, okay, that's great for puppies, but what about my Cane Corso who already guards stuff?
Right, what if it's already happening?
It's not too late. It's never too late to work on this, but safety first, all right? You don't want to make things worse.
Okay, good point. So what's the first step?
Honestly, if you're at this stage, you got to get help from a pro, like a certified dog trainer or a behaviorist. They can really assess the situation and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like you wouldn't try to fix your own wiring if you didn't know what you were doing, right?
Exactly. Better safe than sorry. But while you're waiting for that trainer, there are still some things you can do. Remember those trade-ups and distractions we talked about?
Yeah.
Those are still super useful. But now it's all about, like, being really subtle, reading your dog's body language.
Okay, so no, like marching up and being like, drop it.
No. Let's say your Cane Corso is guarding a toy. Instead of going right at them, try tossing a treat in the opposite direction.
Oh, clever. So they get distracted and you can like safely remove the object.
You got it. No confrontation, just a positive experience.
I like that. Okay, so what about when they're not guarding?
Every time they are relaxed around their stuff, praise them, reward them. Even just a good dog and a pat, it reinforces those good vibes.
So it's like we're always building trust, showing them that good things happen when they're chill.
Exactly. And honestly, it just feels better for everyone, right? Less stress, more cuddles. Who doesn't want that?
I am so with you on that. Okay, this has been so helpful. But I just realized We've been talking about toys, food, that kind of stuff, but our source mentions Cane Corsos can guard places too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What does that even look like? I mean, I'm picturing like a Cane Corso on the couch growling at anyone who comes near.
Uh-huh. Well, it can be like that. Guarding places can look different, from being possessive over a spot on the couch to, like, territorial about their crate, even whole rooms.
Whoa. Okay. So, how do we even approach that? Is it the same idea or is it totally different?
Well, the basics are the same, like trust, desensitization, communication. But place guarding often needs some specific strategies, depending on what's going on. Like, for example, if your Cane Corso is guarding their crate.
Okay, hold on. I think we need a whole other section to untangle this place guarding mystery. It's like we've opened a whole new can of worms here.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
We definitely dig into that more next time. It's a fascinating topic, and knowing how to deal with it can make a huge difference in, having a peaceful home for everyone.
All right, listeners, you heard it here first. We're going deep on place guarding next time. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Right back.
Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle this whole place guarding thing. Before we left off, you were about to explain how we handle like a King Corso who's a little possessive of their crate.
Right, right. So picture this, your Cane Corso goes into their crate, and it's like, boom, personality change.
Uh-oh.
Anyone comes near. Growls, maybe even some teeth. Not exactly a welcoming committee, right?
Not the kind of welcome you want, that's for sure. So how do we change that? Do we like make the crate less appealing or something?
Actually, it's kind of the opposite. We want to make the crate a good place. Remember, resource guarding, it's all about security and trust.
Yeah.
So if your Cane Corso feels like anxious in their crate, they're going to guard it more.
Right. It's like their little fortress and they've got to defend it.
Exactly. So instead of trying to take away the crate or whatever, we focus on good associations.
Yeah.
Toss treats in there, toys, let them go in and out on their own. Make it fun.
So the crate becomes like a happy place, not a punishment zone.
Exactly. And as they see it that way, the guarding lessons, they realize, hey, good stuff happens here. I don't need to freak out.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about when it's not a crate, but like a whole room or, their favorite spot on the couch?
Yeah, those can be trickier, but the idea is the same. Desensitization, counter-conditioning, that kind of thing. Let's say your Cane Corso has, like, claimed the corner of the couch, right?
Yeah, I can see that king of the sofa.
Exactly.
Uh,
So instead of, fighting for the couch cushion, we use distractions. Toss treats near the couch, fun toys, gradually getting closer to their spot, but always keeping things positive.
so their presence on the couch becomes a good thing, not something to guard.
You got it. And don't forget those commands. Leave it off. Those are still super useful. Redirect their attention. Give them a treat when they listen.
It's like, hey, I know you like that spot, but check out the cool stuff over here.
Exactly. Give them options. And remember, consistency is key.
Mhm.
The more you do this, the more they learn. You're not the enemy. You're the source of good stuff.
This is great. But is there ever a time when we need like professional help? When DIY isn't enough.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If it's really serious, if your Cane Corso is getting aggressive or you just feel unsafe, absolutely call a trainer or a behaviorist.
Right, like some things you just need a professional for. But for those less intense cases, it sounds like these techniques can really work wonders.
Absolutely. The goal is to have a happy home for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And by understanding why your Cane Corso is doing this, being patient, using these positive methods.
We can help them feel more secure, which means less guarding. I like it.
And it builds a better bond, too. It's not about being the boss. It's about working together.
Okay, so we've covered a lot about resource guarding with objects, with places. But now I'm wondering, what about guarding humans? Like their person?
Oh, that's a great question, and definitely something we need to talk about. Guarding people can be a little more complicated. It's a mix of protectiveness, maybe some anxiety, even misreading social cues.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a whole other thing to unpack. But for now, I think we've done a pretty good job of breaking down resource guarding in Cane Corsos, from puppies to, dogs who are already showing this behavior.
For sure. We talked about why they do it, how to prevent it, how to deal with it if it's already happening, even place guarding. And the most important thing, I think, is remembering to be positive, build trust, and get help if you need it.
Absolutely. Well, before we wrap things up completely, I think we need to give this guarding humans thing its own time to shine. What do you say? Ready to tackle that next?
You bet. It's important to understand, and it can make a huge difference for everyone involved, in having a safe and loving environment.
All right, listeners, stay tuned. We're about to dive into the fascinating world of human guarding in Cane Corsos. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and ready to talk about something kind of different. Cane Corsos who guard their humans. I mean, it's sweet that they're so protective, but like we've been saying, those instincts can be a little tricky sometimes, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's natural to feel good about your Cane Corso being loyal, but when that turns into guarding, you got to do something about it, for everyone's sake.
Okay, so what does human guarding even look like in a Cane Corso? Is it all like snarling and growling?
Sometimes, yeah, but it can be a lot more subtle too. Like, imagine your Cane Corso kind of getting between you and a visitor. Or they stiffen up, stare a lot when someone comes near you on a walk. They might even lean on you like they're trying to make a wall.
Oh, wow. It's like they're saying, bat off, this is my person. It's kind of cute, but yeah, I can see how that could go wrong fast.
Exactly. And that's why we need to figure out, like, why they're doing it. Human guarding, it usually comes from a few things mixed together. Their instincts, maybe some anxiety, or even things they've learned along the way.
Okay, so it's more than just being a big, tough dog. There's a lot going on in their heads. So where do we even start with this?
Prevention and socialization early on are super important. Like, if your Cane Corso meets tons of people and is in different situations when they're a puppy, it helps them learn to be confident and figure out who's a real threat and who isn't.
So the more they see, the less they're going to think every new person is out to get their human.
Exactly. And it's not just about how many people, but what those meetings are like. Make sure they're good experiences. Encourage people to be calm. Offer treats. Don't overwhelm your Cane Corso.
Gotcha. No big scary hugs from strangers right away. Okay, but what if we miss that boat? Like, what if our Cane Corso is already doing this?
It's not too late, don't worry. It just takes a little more time and, like, you got to be a little more careful. The main things are trust, desensitization, and teaching them different ways to behave.
Okay, so are we back to those trade-up games and distractions?
Those can work, but with human guarding, we got to be even more strategic. One thing that's good is introducing your Cane Corso to new people in a way you can control. Start slow, short interactions, far apart, then get a little closer, a little longer as they get more comfy.
So basically, take it slow, reward them when they're calm, and don't push them too fast.
Exactly. And those commands, leave it off, remember. Those are super helpful to redirect their attention and stop the guarding. Just be patient and consistent. That's the key.
This is all making sense. Okay, but at what point do we call a professional? When is it too much to handle on our own?
It depends. If it's really bad, if your Cane Corso is biting or getting aggressive, or you just don't feel safe, definitely get a trainer or behaviorist involved.
Yeah, for sure. Some things are better left to the experts, but it sounds like for those less intense situations, these techniques can really work if we're patient and understand what our dog's going through.
Absolutely. Remember, we want our Cane Corsos to be happy, right? And that comes from clear communication, training, and a whole lot of love.
I love that. Okay, this has been an amazing deep dive into resource guarding. We covered everything. Toys, couches, even humans.
Yeah, we did. And we learned it's not about being the boss. It's about understanding our dogs, building that trust, and having a happy home for everyone.
Big thanks to you for all this awesome info. I know our listeners are going to feel so much more prepared now. And to all you Cane Corso owners out there, keep learning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep those tails wagging.